Ah yes, the S25 Ultra, the upgrade that we've been waiting for. You can swap out your S24 Ultra for this bad boy and you're going to get a larger screen. How much larger is it? Well, it's like about 0.5 mil longer, which is about the size of one single grain of sugar. It's also wider, about 1.5 mil wider, which is about 3 grains of sugar. It has rounded corners and a tougher screen that you or I will never notice, ever. And let's not forget about the 50 megapixel ultra wide on this camera. It is revolutionary and groundbreaking. You can really see the difference.
It's really, really hard to make out.
As for all of the new shiny AI features that are on this phone, they'll also come to the S24 Ultra at some point, but hopefully before Samsung starts charging for that functionality. After watching the launch and watching other creators create their reviews on this product, I got to thinking, have we reached a point with all of these manufacturers creating their flagship phones, have we reached a point where we don't really need to do this every year? We are upgrading because we want to, not because we need to. And well, honestly, I'm not sure. So let's look at what the pros have to say.
Fastest, thinnest, strongest, most advanced and packed Samsung Galaxy ever.
The S25 Ultra. And honestly, the moment you pick it up, you can tell that this thing is a slicker, neater, better designed phone than last year's. But
it's the same as last year. It's basically last year's phone with a new name. Nothing changed.
The top 2 selling phones in the world is Apple and Samsung. The S25 Ultra launch and the iPhone 16 launch really focused heavily on AI. We can definitely argue that the iPhone 16 series phones wasn't really an upgrade. The functions of those phones were pretty much the same as the previous model. And it seems to me that the Samsung S25 and S24 Ultra are pretty much the same phone. Hey guys, this is Future Shane editing this video. When I showed you this phone at the beginning, this is S23 Ultra, and virtually none of you would have even noticed that. It's not much has changed. And this is a great phone. In fact, with the iPhone 16, you got a little kind of redundant camera button, dedicated camera button on a phone that wasn't meant to ever have buttons. But beyond the point, I've disabled my button on the side and plenty of other people have as well. But there are other functions on the iPhone 16 that were absolutely a downgrade. Think of the blue line that I went through and many other users went through with low light mode. And the update that they've had to that, they've actually created the problem for people who never had it before and mostly resolved it for people who had it before. And Samsung, don't you think you're getting out of the woods for free, because you've actually downgraded that phone. Like the S Pen used to be able to shoot the camera with the Bluetooth from the S Pen. That was a fantastic feature on that phone. And you took it away, just like you took away the 10 times zoom on that phone previously, on previous models. Like, why? If you're an iPhone 16 user and you want to know how to disable that button, let me know in the comments and I'll do a video and show you. Removing that Bluetooth functionality from the S Pen, they say that less than 1% of people use it, but that's a lot of phones out there that people were using this. In fact, Tech Odyssey, he did a poll on his channel, and it had like 40% of the people who responded actually use that Bluetooth functionality. So plenty of people are using this. Having all this functionality around AI and really pushing AI with these 2 main manufacturers of phones in the world, my gut feeling is it's kind of making them a little bit lazy. Like, who are buying these phones now? Of course, you're going to have the absolute loyalists for those models, like the iPhone absolute must-have iPhone users and the absolute must-have Samsung users. They're kind of like, I don't know if this is just an Australian thing or it's all around the world. When our politicians get in front of cameras, there's these people standing behind them, staffers or something, and they sit there absent-mindedly nodding like drones.
And support this new leadership team.
You are, and where you can get off.
A $5,000 sign-on bonus.
And it's kind of like that, I think, when people buy new tech phones, tech that comes out every year.
So pretty.
And these 2 models, they're really not that different to what was there before. So is it just the fear of missing out that people are buying these things all the time? What is it? What about with photography? Because this is actually a photography channel after all. Phone photography and traditional DSLR photography, mirrorless photography, they're 2 different things. It's a different genre of photography. There has always been computational photography that happens with phone photography. You have got a camera a very fast processor that you can edit everything on there straight away for you. And then AI comes into it. And with that AI coming into the photography realm on phones, it kind of, I think it's starting to take away our skill sets as photographers. And you could argue that this has always been there, and I would say it hasn't always been there. Computational photography and AI are two different things. I think they're two very different things. Computational photography uses algorithms in that phone, and all phones are different, to enhance that photo. So when you take a photo, quite often you'll see it take it, and then all of a sudden the preview will appear and then it will change a little bit. And that's the enhancing that I'm talking about. That's the computational stuff. The algorithms in the phone know the hardware of the phone, and they make that scene look a little bit better for that phone. Things like HDR, panorama stitching, noise reduction, those sorts of things I would consider to be computational photography. Always relies on the initial image to be captured by the camera sensor. AI photography or AI imagery, let's not call it photography because it's really not, but the AI imagery, it can create a scene for you without even using the camera. A combination of those two things exists quite a bit in different phones, with computational photography and AI kind of merging together to create other things. We could break that down a little bit more. Think about AI photography. Think about the Samsung moon photos that cause a bit of stir, and the hardcore Samsung people go, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, this guy's proven that it does do this. I've taken photos of the moon, blurred them out, so there's no detail in there, put it on my computer screen, take a photo with the Samsung, and it gives me details that weren't actually there. That's AI photography. Does it matter? It's up to you if it matters or not, but you can get rid of that AI by simply going into that camera module and using the pro features in there and taking a pro mode photo of the moon. No AI is used there at all. Then we have Google Pixel and the Astro mode that it has. It's been there for an awful long time, I think since the Pixel 3 maybe, and that what that does is a 4-minute long photo. It takes 16 images of 16 seconds each, layers them together and aligns all the stars so there's no star trails. That's computational photography. It's taking what's already there and just manipulating it to layer it. It's not adding anything, it's not changing anything, it's just doing that layering. That's computational photography. Then we have macro photography on Samsungs and on iPhones, and it's using AI to work out that is the scene that we've got going on here. It's going to manipulate that image a little bit, enhance that image through AI to give you those macro photos. Another example of computational photography and AI enhancements would be the photo being taken. The camera says, we're going to adjust the brightness and the exposure for this photo, computational. I'm going to adjust the white balance of this photo, computational. And then the scene of the photo, I've got some people in there, so I'm going to enhance their faces only and not the rest of the scene to make them look good in that portrait photo. AI, and those two things have come together in many photos that exist now on the iPhone 16, on the S24 Ultra, S25 Ultra as well, and probably even certainly the Pixel phone as well. So they all do it to an extent. When we look at these two flagship phones from the two largest manufacturers in the world, you'd have a pretty hard time convincing me that they've done anything innovative here. This is all AI, AI, AI. There's no groundbreaking, revolutionary stuff coming to the camera hardware, phone hardware that's going to make that experience that much better. It's AI. And in the photography world, maybe the AI stuff is starting to ruin the phone photography genre to an extent. Maybe it's time that we all go out and pick up a camera and shoot away with an actual camera. I'm not sure. What would resolve this? An out-of-the-box sort of thought around this would be, maybe you phone manufacturers need to stop pushing out a phone every bloody year, because so many people just don't upgrade that phone. You can look at all the reports about the iPhone and how it has declined in popularity in the last launch, the 16 launch. My gut feeling is that the S25 Ultra is probably going to be the same, because the S24 is really no different to that, besides all of the AI at the moment. And the S24 Ultra has Bluetooth in the S Pen, which is a big deal for photography. Maybe it's time they just started going, we're going to launch a new phone every 2 years, and in that 2 years, we're going to do some innovative stuff that we're actually going to spend time on and perfect before the launch So you're not going to launch a phone like iPhone did and said, hey, how good is AI? You can have it later, not now. Right, catch you later.